Earth has built monuments before, but nothing like this. On the edge of the Sahara, a single structure still dominates the horizon, a man-made mountain of stone raised nearly 4,500 years ago, the Great Pyramid of Giza. It looks simple: 4 sides, a single peak, a shape almost anyone can draw. And yet, the closer you look, the less it behaves like a simple object. Because the Great Pyramid is not just big, it's precise, and it hides its logic behind silence. We know who built it. Mainstream Egyptology attributes it to Pharaoh Khufu, a ruler of Egypt's 4th dynasty, completed in the early 3rd millennium BCE. We know where much of its stone came from: local limestone from the Giza Plateau, fine white casing limestone from Tura, and granite hauled from Aswan for the king's chamber. We even have a rare human voice from the age of pyramids itself, a logbook known as the Diary of Merer, describing teams transporting limestone by boat from Tura toward Akhet Khufu, the horizon of Khufu, the Great Pyramid. So the pyramid is not impossible, not alien, not outside history. And still, it feels like something is missing. Because when you stand before it, the question is not who, it's not even how. The real question is, why is it built like this? The Great Pyramid was once sheathed in smooth white limestone, so bright it would have caught sunlight like a mirror. At its peak, it may have held a capstone, the pyramidion, now lost to time. But the core remains, an estimated 2.3 million blocks, weighing millions of tons. And here's where the mystery deepens, because in places, the workmanship becomes unnervingly exact. Measured surveys have reported extremely tight joins in the casing stones, a kind of accuracy that feels almost modern in its intent. And then there's its alignment. The pyramid's sides are oriented extremely close to true cardinal directions, not magnetic north, but geographic north. That sounds like trivia until you remember what this required. No compass, no GPS, no satellite sky maps, only the sky, the sun, and the disciplined patience of measurement. Which raises an uncomfortable possibility. This was not just a burial mound. This was a project where precision mattered. Inside, the pyramid is not hollow. It is structured. There are passages, a descending corridor, an ascending passage, and chambers placed like locked rooms inside a stone labyrinth. The king's chamber sits high within the body, built from massive granite blocks with relieving chambers above it, as if the pyramid itself is engineered to manage stress, to control weight, to make a ceiling survive the pressure of a mountain. And for nearly 2 centuries, explorers have searched these spaces and argued over what they mean. But in the last decade, something changed. For the first time, modern science began to look through the pyramid, not with drills, not with explosives, but with imaging. One method uses cosmic ray particles, muons, ghost-like messengers from space that pass through stone. By measuring where these particles are absorbed, researchers can map voids hidden deep inside. And what they found was not a simple structure. ScanPyramids, an international project, reported previously unknown internal anomalies and voids, including a big void detected above the Grand Gallery area. And in 2023, researchers precisely characterized a corridor-shaped structure behind the chevron zone on the north face, a hidden corridor at least several meters long, confirmed through non-destructive methods. A sealed space above the main entrance, built into the pyramid's skin. Later work continued to confirm this corridor through multiple techniques. That discovery matters for one reason. It proves the pyramid still contains planned architecture we didn't know existed. Not cracks, not random gaps, but deliberate spaces. Which brings us to a delicate line in pyramid research, the line between mystery and myth. Because the pyramid is a magnet for speculation. Some claim lost technologies, some claim impossible methods. But the real story is more interesting than fantasy because it is built from evidence and uncertainty. We can prove the Egyptians moved stone at scale. The Diary of Merer describes crews, schedules, routes, and logistics, a working world of organization, food supply, and planning. Stone moved by water, by labor, by planning. We also have archaeological evidence of large-scale labor organization at Giza, settlements associated with the pyramid construction, often discussed as workers' towns and infrastructure supporting the project. So the pyramid is not a mystery because humans could not do it. It is a mystery because humans did it with a level of systemic control that still feels hard to fully reconstruct. And that reconstruction is where the how becomes a scientific problem. How do you raise millions of blocks, some weighing multiple tons, into a structure over 100 meters tall? There is no single agreed answer. There are ramp theories, straight ramps, zigzag ramps, spiral ramps, internal ramps, and each has strengths and each has problems. A long external ramp involves enormous material, almost a second pyramid built just to build the first. A spiral ramp creates turning constraints for hauling heavy blocks. Internal approaches can solve some geometry, but require evidence of internal haul paths we can identify. What we can say is this: the Great Pyramid shows signs of being built with a practical blend of methods, not one magical technique. Local limestone for the bulk, higher quality material where structural demands are greatest, mortar used to fill gaps and stabilize outer layers, and design choices that show a mind thinking in forces and failure points, not just in ritual. So if the pyramid was a tomb, it was also an engineering object, and engineering always leaves fingerprints. Look at the north face. Above the entrance, the chevron pattern of stones forms a load-relieving design, a way to divert weight away from a vulnerable opening. And behind that zone, now, we know there is a corridor-like space. It may have been built for construction access, or as a stress relief cavity, or as part of a system leading somewhere else. But we do not yet have consensus. And that uncertainty is the only honest kind of mystery, because it doesn't demand belief, it demands patience. Now step back again. The pyramid is not alone. It is part of a landscape engineered for the dead. Causeways, mortuary temples, subsidiary pyramids, boat pits, cemeteries. This is important because it reframes the question. The Great Pyramid wasn't built in isolation. It belonged to a state system, a society capable of surveying, quarrying, transport, food supply, crew rotation, skilled stonework, administration. This is why the pyramid still stands, not because it was beyond human ability, but because it was the product of a civilization operating like a machine, with belief as its fuel. But if the pyramid was built by belief, what exactly was it built to do? The traditional answer is clear: a royal tomb, a resurrection engine, a monument to divine kingship. But even here, the evidence resists simplicity. Inside the king's chamber lies a granite sarcophagus, but there is no surviving mummy, no definitive burial goods like those found in later tombs. And while absence is not proof of absence, looting and time erase almost everything. It keeps the door open to questions. Was the pyramid primarily a tomb? Or was it something more? A symbol of cosmic order? A replication of the primeval mound of creation?
A device for aligning the king's soul with the sky. When you study Old Kingdom ideology, you find a civilization obsessed with permanence. Stone is not just material, it is time solidified. And the pyramid is time organized. Even its geometry suggests intention, not because of hidden codes, but because of what geometry represents in state power, control, measurement, authority made visible. Then there is the sky. Many have argued that alignment is not purely practical, that it's also spiritual. A pyramid that points truly north is not only aligned to Earth, it is aligned to the heavens. And in Khufu's time, the night sky was different. The pole was not marked by today's North Star. Different stars would have hovered near true north. Methods proposed for alignment include solar shadow tracking and stellar observations, not mythology, astronomy. Which leads to a final, haunting fact. Despite centuries of exploration, the Great Pyramid continues to produce new discoveries, not because it is magical, but because it is massive, complex, and still not fully mapped. Every time we develop a new way of seeing, the pyramid offers a new question. A corridor behind chevrons, a void detected by muons, evidence of logistics preserved in papyrus. And with each discovery, the mystery shifts, not toward fantasy, but toward a clearer picture of ancient intelligence. So what is the true mystery of the pyramid? It's not whether humans built it. They did. The mystery is how a Bronze Age state engineered certainty through planning, measurement, labor, and belief into a structure so stable that it can still hold secrets from us now. Because the Great Pyramid is not only a monument to a king, it is a monument to the idea that civilization can bend geology and lock meaning into stone. And even after 4,500 years, it is still working. Not as a tomb, not as a machine, but as a question that refuses to end. A perfect shape, built to outlast memory, still standing in the sand, waiting for the next layer of truth to be uncovered.